Organised criminals and corrupt police realised that they had an illicit empire to protect, and they started to play nasty.
Right, you fellas, got enough fun with your camera.
Break his camera, break his mouth too.
Break his camera and break his mouth too was the order.
After months of interviews and research, Chris Masters and the Four Corners camera crew were now visible on the streets of the valley, and their filming was attracting unwanted attention. Masters needed protection.
It became very apparent to us that you were creating a lot of interest, so hence, things were happening behind the scenes to keep an eye out and keep a lookout for you.
The Australian Federal Police had picked up information that Masters was in possible danger. Dave Moore was an undercover AFP detective based in Brisbane.
The interesting thing is we would have people ourselves at the airport and on other places, and as soon as you came in, fairly discreetly, we were actually watching the watches.
Moore was ordered by his Assistant Commissioner to protect the Four Corners team, to protect them from the Queensland Police. And from their first meeting at Masters Hotel, the AFP officer realised the Four Corners reporter was being watched.
It became quite apparent to me that there was someone paying a lot of attention to Chris across the road, and we later found out it was a hire vehicle which was being used by officers of the police force.
I didn't know that we were being watched as closely as we were, and Dave was good enough to point that out to me.
The Brotherhood of the Queensland Police wasn't just watching Chris Masters, it had devised a plan to destroy him.
They took him extremely seriously, to the point where they were on the brink of literally setting him up. The plan was that they would plant an underage boy in Masters' hotel room in the city, and ultimately, whether they could prove it or not, the mud would have been thrown against Masters to discredit him.
So let me get this straight. The police were prepared to set Chris Masters up, to frame him as a pedophile.
Absolutely. Chris was warned, courtesy of a Sydney police officer who had heard that this plan was on the cards, and as a result of that, the Federal Police initiated protection for him in relation to his work in Brisbane.
Masters was edging closer to the joke. One of his breakthroughs was an interview with former Brisbane brothel operator John